I recently had a private message ask Eric, how do you get decals to be straight across a model when you've got 3 different parts in a real long decal? And my answer to that is glue the parts together. Now that may seem like heresy, but hear me out. A little bit of glue between your cab and the sleeper you're never going to see when you take it apart and chip the paint. And remember, we're not pouring concrete here. We're merely just tacking these together so we can lay these decals down and get them straight all across this body. Okay, let's take a look here on the inside. Right there, you can see that glue. Okay, that's just a little bit of super glue. When we take this apart, yes, we are going to chip some paint. That's okay. You've got enough paint to paint 20,000 different models, so just take a little bit of your leftover and then touch it up. And it's going to be on the inside of the firewall, underneath the cab. Pretty rare you're going to see it unless you're really looking. After you get your decals on, you clear coat those decals so they never come off. Then you take a brand new blade in your X-Acto knife. You go right down the body line right here between your hood and firewall and just make a nice little cut. That way you're separating the decal from, you're just cutting the decal right there at the seam. Same thing. Right there, okay? And then right here between the sleeper. Now let's break this apart and see what we got. Okay, right there. You're never going to see that. It's all going to be hidden when you put it back together. So you don't have to worry about this little bit of paint right here and then the leftover glue. Now you can come in here and chip that off. If it makes you sleep better at night, go ahead. Then we're going to do the same thing up here at the cab. All right, we're going to come in with paint. We're going to touch that up. No worries. Got that. Then we're going to come in here. See that glue? We'll just take that brand new Sharpie X-Acto knife and we're just going to chip that out. Again, we're going to touch that up with paint and it's not going to be seen. Or if someone's really looking for it, they'll notice it. But honestly, guys, how many times do you actually open the hood on a DCP truck? If you open your hoods as much as I do, it's pretty rare. So even just a little bit of touch-up paint in here, unless you're a purist and it really is important to you, you're never going to see it. So that is my tech tip on how to get your decals straight across the whole body. Now, one thing that will inhibit whether or not this thing goes together perfectly as it is right now is how well the assembly process goes. I mean, it's not uncommon. Because we've taken this all apart, sometimes we use different frames and whatnot. When you go ahead and put this back together again and stick it on the frame, it would not be uncommon for sometimes your decals to be a little bit out of kilter. But one saving grace is, especially between the cab and the sleeper, is you're going to have exhaust that will visually, provided it's not a big discrepancy between here and here, when you assemble it, it should maybe hide or mask an uneven line when you've assembled your cab. On the hood, same thing will happen, but again, you have air cans on 379/89 and other trucks that will help mask a little bit of unevenness when you've assembled your truck. Hope that helps. Go get them.